Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and Restless official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Sally is impressed by Billy's kiss when she first gets to his house. If he had caused her to feel pushed out when Phyllis was present before, that was his way of saying he was sorry. That was not at all how Spectra felt. After what she experienced, she can see why Phyllis would need to speak with him. That's good to hear, and he doesn't want them to have any secrets. She questions whether Phyllis was requesting that he maintain one. Billy clarifies that although she didn't ask, he understands that honesty is important to them because their ex-partners withheld a significant secret from them. Sally affirms that honesty is necessary. He tells Sally that Phyllis simply wants to discuss all of her ideas for the business when they sat down. They played a role in helping her get through her tragedy. She probably wanted to stop by and express her gratitude to him for saving her life as well. Billy, who downplays his involvement in the rescue, acknowledges that he can't stop imagining what might have occurred if they had arrived 5 minutes later. Isn't it a cosmic law that you become inextricably linked to someone when you save their life? Sally queries. There's an old movie about that, Billy jokes, where the guy had to go into hiding from the person he saved. Sally is able to comprehend that he was merely being Phyllis's close buddy. He will own that he is a little concerned because Phyllis's worst is not yet done. The person who did this to her is still at large, and his only hope is that he gets apprehended and imprisoned. Billy believes that something broke inside Phyllis when she was held with Sharon, regardless of how resilient she may be. Billy reveals that Phyllis wants everyone to believe she's tough while he pours rinks. She still bleeds like everyone else, even though he is certain that she does. Over the years, they have experienced both positive and negative situations. They have always made better friends or co-workers than anyone else since they are so similar. Billy no longer wants to discuss Phyllis. He starts making suggestions for things they can do that evening because he wants to concentrate on Sally. Dinner can wait, she replies after a few kisses. Nick's strategy to assist Phyllis. Sleeping fitfully on her suite's sofa, Phyllis imagines herself and Sharon locked in the clinic. The sound of a knock on her door wakes her up. Summer and Nick are standing there when she opens it. They observe that she appears unkempt. I'm fine, Phyllis maintains. It is not necessary for them to check on her every 2 minutes. When she confesses to having a dream, they believe it was about a madman locking her up. Phyllis rubs her face and begs them to let her sleep again. They shouldn't worry, she needs to sleep. She complains, I don't need to be babysat. They push in as she tries to close the door. They believe she should stop acting like everything is normal and want to help. She needs assistance. According to Phyllis, she was examined by the EMTs and found to be in good health. Although Nick tells her that she was poisoned, his ex maintains that she is now okay. Phyllis keeps saying she's okay, but this is really annoying. You're not aware of my struggles, she shouts at them. She was not only imprisoned, but also assisted in captivity by someone she hates. After all the pain Sharon has caused her family, who is sick enough to make her save her life. According to Nick, the police are searching for hints. Phyllis encourages him to go grasp his other ex's hand when he mentions that Sharon went through the same thing she did. Nick hopes they all recover. Nick encourages her to rely on those who love her. Phyllis starts to sob and shout. She pleads with Nick to halt her feelings as he hugs her. After Phyllis settles down and sits down, she apologizes for being such a blubbering idiot. Being vulnerable is acceptable, according to her kid. Sharon and Phyllis did change, Phyllis acknowledges. They were designed to keep each other sane and save one another's lives. That is a good thing, in Nick's opinion. Phyllis shakes her head and says that for the majority of her adult life, Sharon has been her nemesis. They put a lot of effort into conspiring against one another. Now that she doesn't have those emotions, what does she do? Do the emotions simply fade? How should she interpret this? Her daughter informs her that no one expects her to return to her regular life right away while she blows her nose. Even though she knows she owes Sharon her life, Phyllis still feels bad about what she did to their family. She is informed by Nick and their daughter that it is merely a first step toward change. Phyllis believes that everyone believes she is repressing her rage. Sharon is not a monster, she will acknowledge. She sighs and acknowledges she's the same screwed-up complicated human being as I am. She's not sure if she'll be able to let this go or acknowledge that again. Nick gets an idea from this. Daniel and Sharon talk about her experience. Daniel enters the society. As he is about to place his order at the bar, he notices Sharon sitting by herself and goes up to inquire about her well-being. His mother told him what had happened at the clinic, he says, and while it sounded awful, at least it's over and they're both safe now. Daniel, it's not over, unfortunately. Not by any means, Sharon replies. Daniel joins her and says he understands how difficult it must be for her to feel secure. Sharon acknowledges feeling tense. He is certain that healing from the trauma will require time. She acknowledges that she is just managing things moment by moment. It appears that the irony of the situation was deliberate. Their captor may have wanted them to learn about one another's humanity or something. Perhaps they were meant to figure out how to forgive one another. She gives the impression that their kidnapper was attempting to help them, Daniel remarks. Although Sharon wouldn't refer to it as a favor, it seems that the goal was to instruct them. For her, it worked. Giving Phyllis credit for saving her comes naturally to her. They were able to tolerate one another to a new degree by the end. Daniel questions whether Sharon has truly moved over her animosity against his mother or if she is merely making a concerted effort to appear as though she has. He'll confess that he doesn't believe emotions can fade so fast. She will acknowledge that she is appreciative, indignant, and perplexed. Occasionally, all in the same hour. It's exhausting and difficult to get rid of the debris she carries around. Where all of this leaves her is unknown. Sharon hopes that his détente with his mother will endure and that this will mark the beginning of some healing for both of them. Although she doesn't ask for forgiveness, it's what she feels. According to Daniel, they are traveling to the same destination in different ways. The one lesson he has learned from this tough period of his life is to find the positive in the midst of the bad. Staying in the dark is bad for everyone, so if she and Phyllis can do that, they should. Sharon is certain that Phyllis is resilient and that they shouldn't be concerned about her. Daniel acknowledges that they don't talk about Heather much anymore when she asks about Lucy, but he occasionally notices her staring off into space and knows that's who she's thinking of. Daniel is aware that the murder was not committed by Sharon. She reminds him that she is the one who framed him. For us, it's complicated, he acknowledges. Nick texts her to invite her to Crimson Lights. She tells Daniel she's happy they spoke as she stands up to leave. It was an excellent one. He concurs. She leaves after they exchange uncomfortable smiles. Victor is updated by Michael. Michael informs Victor at the GCAC that the spies they have planted at Glissade/Jabot are well established and undiscovered. Since the merger is still under progress, not much can be learned. There will be more to tell after it is finished. Victor adores succeeding in business, and Michael wishes he could enjoy anything as much. They laugh about that and toast. Victor shifts the conversation to Aristotle Dumas and inquires about his activities. It appears from the information the lawyer has uncovered that Dumas has no interest in Winters and that his interest in Damien is, at most, accidental. Victor is surprised by that. Michael will continue to delve. The Newman wants nothing to catch him off guard. Michael wonders, why the sudden interest? His supervisor explains that he is intrigued by this abrupt reappearance. He acknowledges their past. Michael prods, it would probably help if I knew what kind of connection you had with this man if you want me to keep investigating him. According to Victor, they have frequently fought for the same businesses. Interesting fights have been fought by them. Sometimes Dumas prevailed, and other times he did. Victor would set up a trap for Dumas, but he would never fall for it. Anyone who would do that with Victor, Michael surmises, probably shouldn't be disregarded. You're right, concurs Victor. He must know why Dumas has returned. His approach is to enter, strike, and then leave. Michael believes this has nothing to do with assisting Devon and Lily. Victor adds that by putting Dumas in his crosshairs, they may assist him. Tessa and Daniel talk about Mariah. Tessa comes over to the bar where Daniel is still sitting at society. He's surprised to see that she's blonde now. He appears to be a man in need of a conversation partner, she says. Earlier, she caught him speaking to Sharon. That's always odd, he acknowledges. She claims that Sharon's desire for forgiveness is obvious. Daniel informs Tessa that although he has repeatedly told Sharon that he understands that she is not to blame for what happened, this does not equate to forgiveness. He's trying to be more forgiving, especially in light of what transpired with her and his mother. They discuss how Mariah is coping with everything. Tessa admits that she hasn't been talking to her about it since she has been engrossed in her work. Daniel offers to speak with her because he knows that's difficult. Although Tessa is aware that they are all just collateral damage from bad people doing bad things, she nevertheless asks herself what she could do. When you are in the midst of it, it is difficult to see that. She constantly offers him a lot to think about, and Daniel enjoys that. He feels less insane when he talks to her. Mariah is really fortunate to have her. Phyllis and Sharon agree to speak. In anticipation of hearing about the abduction, Sharon dashes into Crimson Lights. She discovers Nick, Phyllis, and Summer seated at a table. He says it's time for her and Phyllis to have a conversation about what transpired and what comes next. Sharon believes this to be a ruse. Although she agrees with Nick, Phyllis claims that it was all his idea. Actually, the only person she can talk to is Sharon. Sharon is surprised by this. Phyllis acknowledges that she is shocked that she consented to this. They consent to speak, despite the possibility of unpleasantness. When Summer asks her mother whether she is certain of this, Phyllis is certain. Nick tells Summer that he doesn't think this will work out after the two adversaries enter the patio. Extended scene, Sally and Billy's intimate evening. When Sally arrives at Billy's penthouse, the warmth in his eyes immediately puts her at ease. The kiss he gives her isn't just an apology, it's a promise. His lips linger against hers, soft yet insistent, as if trying to convey everything words couldn't. She melts into it, her fingers tangling in his hair before she pulls back just enough to meet his gaze. That was quite the welcome, she murmurs, a playful smirk tugging at her lips. Billy exhales, his hands resting on her waist. I needed you to know how sorry I am if I made you feel pushed out earlier. With Phyllis showing up like that. I didn't want you thinking there was anything left unsaid between us. Sally shakes her head, her expression softening. Billy, I didn't feel pushed out. I get it, Phyllis went through hell. If she needed to talk to you, that's not something I'd ever hold against you. Relief flickers across his face, but there's something else there, something guarded. Good. Because I don't want secrets between us. Not after everything we've been through. She studies him for a beat. Did Phyllis ask you to keep one? No, he says quickly, but then hesitates. But our exes kept enough from us to know how much honesty matters. Sally nods. It's a requirement. They move to the couch, Billy pouring them both a drink, bourbon for him, a martini for her. As they settle in, he explains Phyllis's visit in more detail. She had all these ideas for the company. I think brainstorming kept her sane while she was trapped in that clinic. He swirls his glass, staring into the amber liquid. And I guess she wanted to thank me. For helping rescue her. Sally tilts her head. You saved her life, Billy. That's not nothing. He shrugs, uncomfortable with the praise. We got lucky. 5 minutes later, Anne. He trails off, the unspoken what-if hanging between them. Sally reaches for his hand. Isn't there some cosmic rule that when you save someone's life, you're bonded to them forever? Billy chuckles darkly. There's an old movie about that. The guy ends up hiding from the person he saved because they won't leave him alone. She laughs, but sobers quickly. You're a good friend to her. And I respect that. Billy's grip on her hand tightens. I can't stop thinking about the fact that whoever did this is still out there. Phyllis acts tough, but something inside her cracked in there. And I don't know if it'll ever fully heal. Sally leans into him, her voice low. Then we make sure she's not alone. But right now. She traces his jawline. I'd rather focus on us. Billy grins, setting his drink aside. Dinner can wait. Their lips meet again, this time with a hunger that erases all other thoughts. Nick's plan to help Phyllis expanded. Phyllis jolts awake on her suite's sofa, her skin slick with sweat. The remnants of her nightmare, Sharon's terrified face, the suffocating darkness of the clinic, cling to her like a second skin. A sharp rap at the door yanks her fully into reality. Go away, she croaks, but the knocking persists. Grudgingly, she shuffles to the door and yanks it open. Summer and Nick stand there, concern etched into their features.